G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. Let's go. I, 37 male, have a biological child who I've never seen, 17 female, wanting to make contact which I don't want, but my family does. What should I do here? So when I was 19, I was taken advantage of by an older colleague, 34 female, after a works night out, and she got pregnant. It didn't go anywhere legally as it was my word against hers, and she had the kid. Sadly, as there is no proof that it wasn't consensual, I had to pay child maintenance until it was 16. Obviously, as it was the product of what happened to me, I wanted nothing to do with it. I told her to raise her baby herself. The woman died, and I'm not sorry about it, a couple of years back, and I've not heard anything about the kid since, so I had no idea what was going on other than my maintenance stopping, which was a relief because I finally felt like a milestone had been lifted from around my neck. Because of what happened, I never have been in relationships because of the issues it's caused me, and I haven't gotten any kids or anything like that, so I feel like I can start living a bit. Brought down to earth a bit last month when my mum said that the kid got in touch with her on social media and asked about me and my family and told them that she was living with her grandparents herself after her mum died until they both died themselves, so she's not got anyone now. Now, my mum is one of these people with a massive soft spot for kids and young people, so she feels sorry for her. I told her that I don't feel comfortable with her being in touch with us, and I want nothing to do with her, so keep her away from me. She seemed upset, but I thought that she accepted it. I will say throughout it all since then, my parents have been an absolute rock. They were some of the only people to support me, and I couldn't have done it without them. So I was talking to my mum at the weekend, and she admitted to me that she's not only kept in touch with the kid, but she had met them the week before, and they didn't tell me. Basically, they feel really bad for her because of the life that she's had and are starting to enjoy her being in their life. Not only that, she's been asking about me and what happened and wants to meet me to talk and ask me questions. Obviously, I'm upset about it. I not only had a go at them for going against my wishes, but for betraying my trust like that. She said that it's hard for her and my dad because of the way that I've been. Never had any kids or anything, and they have always been sad that they'll never have a grandchild, and this may be their only chance. She also told me she thinks I'm being out of order, taking it out on an innocent child who didn't ask for this, and could at least meet her to talk. I've said no, and I've not spoken since, which is hard because I normally ring my folks twice a day, and my mum keeps on trying to ring me. I don't know what to do, Reddit. I obviously don't want to be cruel, but that kid is a reminder of what happened to me, and I'm just angry that she's coming back into my life now when I thought that it could be over. And how could my parents do this to me when they know how I feel? As it stands, I have no desire to meet her and don't see the good that could come from it, but I don't want to lose my parents either. What should I do? In the comments, if you are 100% sure about not having a relationship with a girl, then don't. Sit down and explain to your folks that they are free to have a relationship with her if they want, but if they do, they will not talk about you with her, and that you will be spending holidays separately, or at different times, or not at all, if she's coming over, and there are no accidental run-ins. I'm sorry that you had to go through that. I hope you figure things out soon, and good luck. I'm sorry for what you've been through all those years ago, and I'm more sorry that you've suffered all these years since. Have you ever been to therapy to help you cope with what happened to you and begin to heal? I have, but I don't think it's really helped me so far, so I abandoned it. Go to a therapist that specifically works with trauma. It's a special training that many don't have. There are bad therapists and there are good therapists. Find one that works for you. There is no need to be a prisoner for the rest of your life over this. Well, that's just how I've felt all these years, but I have never been able to put it into words. Thank you. I come from trauma myself, and finally finding a therapist that can actually help me has changed my life. Trauma gets trapped in our nervous system. No amount of talking or wanting or being pressured to will change it. To clear it out, we have to specifically work with the nervous system and brain patterns around it. My therapist uses EDMR, somatic experiencing, and psychotherapy. Regular therapists aren't trained in all of that, and again, not all are a good fit. though you are worth so much more than being a prisoner, and it's been long enough. Your pain matters. What you went through matters. How it doesn't seem that you have truly been acknowledged by others for being punished by someone else's crime when you were a minor matters. You deserve to be seen. It isn't healthy for you to be around the girl right now. Therefore, it won't be good for her either. Tell your family that you understand they're going to make their own choices in having a relationship with her, though you are not ready, and they need to respect that and not force anything on you. That you are going to go to therapy, if you do, and request that they support you healing through this too. That you will let them know when and if you are ready, period. You cannot control what other people do, though you can heal yourself. I think you need to go to counseling to practice enforcing stronger boundaries if you want to maintain a relationship with your family. You did not want that child. You did what you had to by paying child support. It's sad that she lost her mom and now wants to meet you. You may be biologically related to her, but you are not her dad. And you made it clear right from the beginning. You are not the bad person here. This is just an unfortunate situation for everyone involved. Doesn't change the fact that there is an innocent 17-year-old girl with no family whatsoever. OP doesn't have to be a father figure to this child, but she's still a biological offspring of her grandparents, and it's not fair to tell them they cannot help this girl out of a terrible situation. Is it OP's responsibility? No. Would it be easier to forget she existed? Yes. But does it change the fact that she does exist? No. This situation is tragic, and it's going to cause hurt to someone regardless of the decision made. Either OP, a 37-year-old man, can be reminded of an awful experience but still be surrounded by loved ones, or a 17-year-old girl can be reminded of her own awful experiences, losing everyone she's close with, and be surrounded by no one. I know this will be the unpopular opinion, but I feel that the 17-year-old girl's welfare takes priority. He doesn't have to be in his daughter's life, but he can't ask his parents to ignore this girl after she has reached out to them. Back up to the post, we have an edit. So, I spoke to my mum today. She is still insistent on having a relationship with her. I said she can, but tell her I do not want to meet her at all, and won't do at all. Would you believe my folks are actually intending on her coming over and having Christmas dinner with us? I basically said that if they do that, I'm not going. Important edit, I get people disagreeing with my parents' actions, but please do not be respectful of them or call them names. Despite this, they are wonderful people, and they were the only people who ever had my back throughout. Thank you. And now, on to the update. So much went on since my last post. I spoke to my parents. I basically laid out exactly why I didn't want contact with her. I explained that it's not a personal thing, but rather that she is to me the living embodiment of my abuser, and that if I were to have contact, I feel it would make me relive it all over again. I reassured them that they can have contact with her and I won't stop it, but to stop trying to force me. They obviously agree with me, and said they'll respect my wishes. With regards to Christmas, as it stands, she will go for Christmas Day, and I won't, and I will go for Boxing Day. My parents are upset because it means I'll be completely on my own on Christmas Day. I also wrote her a letter, and I gave it to them. I wasn't mean or anything to her, but I explained exactly why I didn't want contact, and how being in touch with her would make me feel, and that until I get better, I didn't want contact, and I asked her to respect that. My folks gave it to her, and she read it while she was at their house. My mum told me that she broke down crying and was really upset. She obviously had no idea what happened. She then asked them if they'd let her have some paper and to write me a letter back, and she did. And then they gave it to me. Initially, I went mad that they did give it to me because I felt like they didn't respect what I'd said, but they begged me to read it, so I did. And God, I'm now confused. The letter was sweet, for want of a better word. She admitted in it that she had no idea and apologized to me. And that hurt that she felt like she had to apologize. She also said she'd respect my wishes, but gave her contact details, and said if I ever wanted to speak to her, she would be there for me. She also slipped a little passport photo of her in it, which is the first time I've ever seen her and what she looks like. It's weird because before this, she was just a thing. I could ignore her, but reading that, she became real. She has a little girl's handwriting. I felt like I could feel her pain in the letter, and seeing her photo, she's a kid. She doesn't look like me, but she really looks like my dad, but with her mum's hair and eye color. But she does look sad in it. I didn't say anything to my parents about it, but I'm now really effing confused. I know I shouldn't have contact with her, and I still don't want it for all the reasons I've said before. It's not good for me, and I also don't think for her. But I realize I don't hate her or am angry at her at all. I don't want her to feel guilty about her horrible mother, and now I see she's a good person. God, it's screwed up. I don't know what's going to happen. Edit, so I just sent my mum a message asking her to say to her that I read her letter and that I don't want her to feel that she has to apologize because she's done nothing wrong. She replied back saying she will. I think she deserves to know that, at least. In the comments, I am so glad you updated, and oh my god, the idea of finding out your mother was an abuser for the holidays, what a thing. But you had to tell her, and good on ya. I know, it has to be a horrible thing to find out, but I figure if anything comes out of this, she'll at least know that I don't want contact with her, not out of anything she's done. Exactly. It's not a happy thing to find out, but either she's lied to for the rest of her life, or she would sit there and wonder forever. At a certain point, it's better to just rip off the bandage. Talk with a therapist about whether to get in contact. It may be that forming a relationship with your daughter can be a part of the healing process, but it would take professional opinion to determine that. I definitely am trying to sort out some therapy or counseling. I know at this stage it would be a nightmare to have contact the way I am, though. You should do what you need to. I'm curious as to what leads you to keep saying it would be a nightmare the way I am. What way are you? What does your nightmare situation look like? How do you want to change for a better future for yourself? That's an interesting question. I consider myself quite backward for my age. I have lots of issues with my anxiety. I'd like to just be functional, have a career, relationship with someone I trust, and a bit of money for my future. There's a saying, do not let the perfect be the enemy of the good. I don't know if it applies, but my heart breaks for the both of you. There is literally no way for you to be happy the way things stand, and you both deserve so much happiness. I can't explain how I feel, but I feel sad for her too. Before this, I couldn't care how she felt, as it was all about me. Now, I feel all kinds of things. Your empathy has awakened. That's a good thing, but don't feel guilty for what you can't give her. Realize you have given her 2 new grandparents for her to have a relationship with. That is huge and a great thing. Take all the time you need for yourself. Don't let anyone else tell you or force you different. Only those with their own agendas will try. And now onto the second update. Reddit, you were advising me on the situation that I'm in with my biological child. So today I made a decision, and I want to see if it sounds as crazy as it is in my own head. So basically, I've decided to go to my parents' house at Christmas, when she's going to be there, and meet her. I've honestly just decided it today. I've been talking to my mum about it all weekend, and for the past few days, and the more we talk about it openly has made everything seem a bit more clear. I have worked out that despite the history attached, and no matter our biology, she is just a little girl. So today I was talking to my mum on my lunch break, and we were discussing Christmas and how we'd do it logistically at this point. I was only going Boxing Day. When my mum mentioned Christmas dinner and plating me one up to warm up and eat at home, I just realized, what's the point of avoiding everyone and sitting at home getting pissed and playing my PC with only my fish for company? So I went something like, yeah, you know what, screw it. Get enough for me, and I'm coming Christmas Day too. She thought I was joking. When she realized I wasn't, I could tell in the tone of her voice that she was thrilled. She then asked me if I realized the kid is still going, and I said I do. She asked me how I feel, and I said honestly I don't want to think about all that. I just want to go to Christmas Day and spend it with my family. And if a young girl is there, I will just be polite and respectful and treat her how I would any lonely young woman on Christmas Day. I asked her to let her know and text her and see if she's also okay with that. She did, and in the short space of time on my call, she got back to my mum really happy, saying of course it is, and she can't believe it. So that's it. I'm going. My mum texted me earlier saying that she's, my mum, so happy that I'm coming and doesn't have to worry about me being on my own anymore. I sat there this afternoon feeling a bit relieved, and I'm also bloody terrified, but not like in a bad way, more of a facing something uncertain way. Am I nuts? A week ago, I posted and was acting like I would rather cut contact with everyone, and now I don't really know what I feel. I'm thinking of writing her another letter too. Nothing serious, just a bit about me to introduce myself, and maybe ask her for one back. Would that be a nice thing to do? Is that too much? I mean, obviously I might panic and cancel last minute, knowing how flaky I can be, but I hope not. In the comments, life is short. This isn't guaranteed to play out like a Lifetime movie, but it's not guaranteed to end up in disaster either. I think opening yourself up to new experiences is a brave choice, and I think she'll be excited to just meet you and talk to you. Do take it slow, and give yourself an exit strategy if it gets to be too much. Take a break by going into another room, or maybe a short walk around the block. Try to go into there without expectations, and I think it's also important for her to do the same. Best of luck with everything. OP replies, definitely. I mean, I'm just rationalizing it to myself that I'm going to my folks, and we have a guest there, and only expect we'll have a nice day and good food. That's a good idea about a break though. I'm sure they'll let me walk the dog for them if I need to get out for 5. Since you're gonna write to her, maybe it'll take pressure off both of you if you include a disclaimer. Something like, to be honest, I am a little afraid to meet you. Please know that if I need to go home early or don't write you back right away, it's not because of you personally. It's the situation that is overwhelming. That gives you an out without worrying about hurting her feelings. Either way, can I just say that I was really happy to read that you're going to Christmas? That took courage. So remember to give yourself a lot of grace along the way. You're going to have days where you think that this was a terrible idea, days you're fine with it, days you look forward to it, and days you're angry all over again. On the bad ones, talk to people outside your family who love you and won't be hurt by the intensity of your completely justified feelings. If it helps, remember that this girl was not alive when the crime against you took place. Your relationship with her is brand new, and I wish you both the very best. Did she give you her email address? You should write her directly, instead of sending your parents between. No, although I did consider that, but I might yet. My thoughts are that this way, if it doesn't work out and we don't keep contact, I don't have the risk of someone having my email address that I don't want to be in contact with. At least this way, I can make that decision at a pace that I'm comfortable with. You can make an email just for communicating with her, silly. Oh yeah, duh. Sorry, I wasn't thinking. Been a busy week at work. Good idea though. Will be easier than writing each time, I suppose. Back up to the post, there's an edit. Thanks to the great suggestion of a commenter, I've set up a new email address solely for the purpose of her and I to communicate, so it saves us both having to write letters and wait. My mum's got her email for me, so I'm in the process of drafting an email. Effing hell. I've spent hours in the past week communicating with strangers all over the world on Reddit, but do you think I know what to say in an email to a teenage girl living not too far away from me? I am absolutely blank. And now for the final update. So sorry folks, editing my post I accidentally deleted it. But me and my daughter have been corresponding through email this last few days a lot. It feels like hundreds of emails and getting to know each other. Even though it's been weird, I have really enjoyed it. She's a lovely kid, and I genuinely like her. So this afternoon we were chatting, and I signed off my email with "Love Dad" without thinking. And she messaged me back, "Dad, you mean it?" And I was like, I suppose I do. I haven't heard from her since because she's working today, but I keep on thinking about it. In fact, she texted me a couple of minutes ago with a smiling emoji and a love heart. I responded the same. I was so scared to embrace her. To me, a couple of weeks ago, she was just my abuser's baby. But now, I acknowledged she is mine. Like I'm her dad. She's my daughter. I wouldn't say love is the right word, but she's mine. If someone asked me if I had a kid, I'd say I do. I don't know how I feel about it on an emotional level. I don't have this warm paternal feeling like I think people probably do, but at the same time, I know she's mine, even though we've never met. But at the same time, I feel that I want to meet her before Christmas. I don't know if I can wait. Even if we have a video message, I'm going to video call her tomorrow. F me, I am really, really nervous. I don't think a lot of people have been in my situation ever, but is this natural? Am I doing it right? Should I do anything different? What does a dad actually do? I feel like crying yet smiling at the same time. In the comments, this is tough, man. You're doing the best you can, and it looks like it's working. Do what your heart is saying, and have no regrets. Thank you. I'm just doing what I'd do for anyone who doesn't have a family at Christmas. Maybe I'll look back on this in a month and say that it's a great decision or my biggest ever mistake. Yes, but at least you have an answer and not a what if. Good luck, dude. Wow, what a ride reading your post history. I'm so proud of you for how you're handling things. I think it's such a beautiful thing that the two of you are getting to know one another. It made my heart smile to read that you had softened your heart to the idea of meeting her. I respect how you felt before, but I'm so happy the two of you are getting to know each other. I hope that this becomes a happy ending for you both. That took an incredible amount of strength for the girl to reach out to the family and for OP to decide to meet her. There is a lot of pain here, but also a lot of love and empathy and willingness to confront hard things and move forward. I wish them all the best and I hope that they can find peace. I can't imagine the gut punch of finding out one of your parents is the abuser and the only reason you exist is because of their crime. It's bad enough for a child to be told, you were an accident. I can't imagine telling a child, you were the product of a violent crime. Knowing that your father was never around, and it wasn't your fault, but it was entirely because of what you represented. Imagine realizing that you were the physical manifestation of someone's most traumatic experience. Yikes. I really hope these people are in therapy. And that's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.